Hello. That was my song. Just kidding. Welcome back to the live stream. My name is Brennan of Scale Fracture, and today we're going to go over our song Sisyphus. Now, Sisyphus has not been released online yet, and we're still kind of actually in the recording of it. So in a weird way, this is still kind of a songwriting session, but this one we've actually been playing live for a few years now. Not a few years, we've only been together for a year, sorry. It's been a weird week, and I don't even know where my mind is, but anyways. Hello, Sam. Thanks for joining. So, anyways, I'm going to be playing our song Sisyphus today, and then show you how to play it. And so, since also we haven't recorded this one officially yet, this will be the only recording of it online. So, that's a treat for you. Hey, I appreciate the support, man. Appreciate it. Alright, so this one is called Sisyphus, and I'll break it down and all that after I play it. Give me another try. I appreciate it. So, that was our song Sisyphus, more or less. Y'all know how my songwriting process goes. Usually, how it starts and what comes out on the final recording are very different, even up until the last little bit, which I think is funny because we get so used to, Nick and I, we get so used to playing our songs a certain way that because we've played it live so much a certain way, and then when we go back to the recording that we did like months ago, it's like, oh shoot, yeah, I forgot I used to do that part. Oh yeah, I forgot I took that lyric out for this one. And Sisyphus is a funny one too because it was another one of those random ones that I wrote it while pet sitting for a friend. Like, and it was literally just kind of like, that's when it really started to form and how it came to be what it is now. And in true fashion, I like to use a lot of weird chords with it. But even though they're weird, I like to think it's still pretty simple. I'm going to teach you how to play it. So what we start with, because this is the way my brain works, we kind of actually start with a C add 9. Also, I'm in standard tuning. If you want to give it a shot, put it in a different tuning and let me know how it sounds. But we take a C add 9 shape, and we're actually going to move it all the way up to where our root note is 10th fret of the A string, so it's a G. So it's kind of like a weird G chord. And then that strumming pattern, I'll go after the strumming pattern after I explain all the other stuff. So I'm going to be honest, I don't even know what to call this chord. If you know, put it in the comment. I've got my middle finger on 2nd fret of the A string and pinky on 2nd fret of the E string. So we've got a low B and a low B and a high F sharp coming through. The low E string is muted. So I guess that's kind of like some kind of B minor chord, I don't know. And then we do go into the C add 9. And it's funny because I love using the C add 9 chord because of the amount of, whenever we do covers, scale fracture, whenever we do covers, we do a lot of early 2000s, 90s chords, which 9 times out of 10, like Green Day and Goo Goo Dolls, they all kind of used that C add 9 shape for, like, they kind of used those types of chords, and I really like that sound. I really like how those high notes come in through. But anyway, so that's where part of the inspiration came from, was taking that C add 9 shape, but I didn't want to just do the usual G, D, E minor, C, just using those shapes. And then it started, I think when I first started writing it too, it sounded more like a, yeah, if you know that. I feel like I'll get copyrighted if I do any more of that. But that progression is kind of where it started, where it was. That was how it kind of started. But anyways, after some tweaking, taking that C add 9 shape and moving it around, that's how we got. And then I go into this weird other chord. All the chords in this song are weird. I think there's only one normal chord in this song. Normal chords, they have their place. I gotta be weird. I gotta be different. We're called scale fracture for a reason. So now I am playing the weirdest D suspended shape. So I've got pretty much your basic D chord, but I'm putting a pinky on 3rd fret G, so we're getting that high G, 3rd fret E string, sorry. So you're getting a G, but then I'm also having my thumb still on the low F sharp. I just like the way it sounds. And so then we've got... and that's the verse. And that rhythm pattern of... you get it. Yeah, a lot of... So Nick will say I am a rhythm guitarist with no rhythm, because I get so used to playing a certain rhythm, and then I realize when I go to sing it, I still can't play that same rhythm. But that is pretty much the rhythm of the verse. Now, lyrically, this song is really funny because it sounds like a deep, emotional song, just like Jesus' follower 777 said, "Let him cook." It feels like a very emotional song, and it is. I mean, because it's me being honest. But believe it or not, this song, I don't even know if I should say it yet. I feel like I should get through all the chords, let you think it's really cool. Nah, we'll go over the words. All right, so... Tear the skin off and face my side. This kid inside, the sin I hide. Oh, doesn't feel quite alright. So, yeah. Tear the skin off, face my side. This kid inside, the sin I hide. All doesn't feel quite all right. Which also, I debate between changing that line, all doesn't feel quite all right. I do debate changing it with don't look at me in this light. Rhythmically, I don't know how it feels. Maybe on the final recording, you'll see. Let me know in the comments which one you think is better. But anyways, so this song actually came from my experience being on a dating app. Oh, somebody's in the chat. Appreciate it. I don't know where Corsica is, but hey, good job. Welcome to the chat. So this song actually came lyrically from, oh dang, all right, cool, solid drummer. All right, so it came from me being on a Christian dating app, which dating app already is kind of sketch. Christian dating app, it brings a whole new level of sketchy. And funny enough, it did not work out being on the app. Deleted it, but then soon after I ended up meeting my girlfriend, and that has been an amazing experience. That's a whole nother story. She gets her own song. But anyways, being on the app, what I didn't like about dating apps, and I mean, if this is how you met, hey, it's how you met, no judgment. Because some of my best friends, that's how they met their wives, was through dating apps. But my experience, one, it was kind of like, in a weird way, feeling like I'm back in this like popularity contest. I had to pick the right picture that made me look attractive but fun, didn't give the wrong idea. You know, in the description, how do I be real and honest but not scare them off and be too vulnerable too quick? And I think mine was probably one of the worst dating ad bios you could put, because I think I put like, hey, I'm a Christian who loves metal and horror movies, and you know, I learned that if you do that, not a lot of girls on Christian dating apps will respond, or at least none of the right ones. Just kidding. Anyways, there's this temptation, obviously, to kind of paint yourself a certain way, but I also feel like the fears I deal with of, we put on this facade when we're trying to meet somebody, but eventually truth has got to come out. And I'm not saying you need to throw all of your crap at somebody right away. Like, you need to base yourself on what they're ready to hear. But from the get-go, it's, you know, I think this song was kind of me going, hey, this is me, I'm kind of sketchy, but this is what I'm after, and I love Jesus. And so tear this skin off and face my side, it's just kind of poetic way of saying get rid of this mask. Like, actually take a good look at me. This kid inside, the sin I hide. So, the me that even at almost 28, as of this video, you know, still feeling like this little kid inside most days, just going about trying to figure out life. Like, I don't even know how I made it this far. But then also the sin I hide. Just, we're all human. What am I struggling with? You know, so it's kind of this, you've seen The Mask, but what happens when you see the real Brennan that is not so put together and not so good and is messy? And that line, all doesn't feel quite all right. Or the line, don't look at me in this light. Whichever one y'all think is better. I'm still going to go with whatever because it's my song. But, hey, part of doing these streams is, you know, might as well see what other people say. But anyways, all doesn't feel quite all right. It's just kind of this, like, being on that dating app where you're hoping you'll meet somebody, but then you're also like, I don't know if this, like, is me. And so, yeah. And then, so then we get into the pre-chorus, which is super simple. So all I'm doing there is it's a slide up from kind of that C at 9 to an E minor chord, if you can call it that. I don't even know. Long story short, all the strings are ringing out, and I've got my middle finger on 7th fret, A string, and my ring finger on 7th fret, B string. So you've got a E coming through right there, and then, shoot. Oh yeah, that's not an A flat. That's a G sharp. Shouldn't that be a major chord? Music theory is weird. And then I take that back down, and I go back to C. And that's actually, if you're looking for a point of reference, it's kind of similar to the nutshell chord. That's where I got it. And so I just took that shape. I just kind of moved it up and down. I felt like it was a good transition for a pre-chorus. But the lines don't look where I've lied. So, yeah, I think that one's pretty self-explanatory. But then don't look where I've tried. Because I feel like the me that's trying to do good or trying to do something right is still failing miserably. And so then it's what's worse, that you're seeing that I'm caught in my lies, or that when I tried, it still was just as bad. So, and then we go into the chorus. To that. I also forgot to say, my bad. So that pre-chorus when we're building up, we take that open C shape and turn it into a C at 9. Just getting those high notes, build tension. Hey, I appreciate it. And so taking that, and then we go into chorus. I'm playing a C major 7 chord right there, or a C major 9, something like that. Debate in the chat. I've got ring finger on 5th fret D, middle finger on 4th fret G, pinky on 5th fret B, and then it's just barred across. So we've got like a weird C major 7, C major 9, and then it goes into a basic C bar chord, but I've got low G coming in on that bar, and I do not have a finger down on the B string. So you get this little, and there's your one normal chord for the whole song, just a basic E minor. Not all of them are complicated, but gives us some color, gives us some creativity. So then we get that. Willing to give me another try. I break the wing of a butterfly. I don't have to say goodbye. So what we get after those, it's like 3 times. And then we go back into another weird D chord shape, where, long story short, I've got thumb on the F sharp, index is on 2nd fret D, middle finger's on 2nd fret G, ring finger on 3rd fret B, and pinky on 3rd fret high E. And we have the low A ringing out as well. I think Foo Fighters has a song that uses that chord. I don't know, I just thought it sounded pretty. And then we go into a C add 9, then we take the C add 9 shape, move it up to a D, and then move it up to an F. Just to give it some tension, a little extra flair, break the rules a little bit. Alright, before I go lyrically into the chorus, I'll go back to the chat real quick. Corsica is in France, and even if you can't understand and you're using Translate, hey, I appreciate you. Thanks for joining me. I think you pronounce it as Loud Gaming. Slouds Gaming. Either way, hey, I appreciate it. I'm glad you enjoy it, man. And if you're tuning in, hey, thank you for the support. Thanks for listening. If you're just not tuning in, this is our song, Sisyphus. Not online yet, so this live stream will actually be the only live recording. So it'll probably sound different whenever we finally put the official version online. Anyway, so we get to the chorus. Look at me, and please don't sigh. Willing to give me another try. Break the wings of a butterfly, so I don't have to say goodbye. So, pretty self-explanatory. Look at me, please don't sigh. You know, if you ever feel like the person that people look at and just kind of roll their eyes, or they're just like, oh, great, here comes Brennan, here comes so-and-so. You're in good company. And then willing to give me another try. So with that dating app profile, if you don't like what you see, it's like, well, hey, what if you actually got to know me for a minute? And then, you know, you probably still might not like me, but hey, at least we tried. But no, I think seriously, just willing to give me another try. Like, we forget, especially when we're dating and getting to know somebody new, like, people are going to be human, they're going to mess up. Now, that's not an excuse to be in an unhealthy relationship. If you're in an unhealthy relationship, definitely let it go. If you're in an abusive relationship, get out of it. But willing to give me another try is more in the sense of, like, the me that's trying to do good and trying to do my best, but is still messing up terribly. So asking for some grace. We made to be outside, give me another try. I break the wings of a butterfly. So that one actually comes from an old poem I read. It was in the Big Book of Glebe. It was, I kid you not, the author's name on the book was Paul B. Loney. So, and he wrote a book that is just all a bunch of poems that are dialogues. And one is a story about somebody holding a butterfly too tightly, and this other person saying like, hey, you've got to give it some space. You're killing it. And the person says, but if I open up my hands, the butterfly might fly away. And then just the line, you should learn to hold the things you love with an open hand. And I think that's what makes for a lot of unhealthy relationships. We get so obsessed with, I need this to work out. I need this person. I need, like they complete me. And it's like, no, like there's a weight that no human being can bear. Like no one human being can take away all of your insecurities, all your problems. No human being can bear that. And I think that's the difference where you're being a Christian and it's like, okay, that's who Jesus is the one I've got to find worth and complete and completeness, completedness, whatever you want to call it, in him, not this person I'm dating. They're great, they're awesome. Like, I love my girlfriend now, and she has impacted my life in so many ways. Shout out Juliana, I love you. But end of the day, like, she's still human, just as much as I'm still human. Like, I need somebody bigger than myself. I need Jesus. But anyway, so that's where that line kind of leads to, is the me realizing like, hey, look at me, please don't sigh, willing to give me another try. Like, I want to be seen a certain way, but then I break the wings off a butterfly so I don't have to say goodbye. I think it's the me that's saying, in all my insecurities though, I need to learn to let go and accept that some people are going to like you, some people aren't. Some people are going to love you, some people aren't. You can't find your worth in that. And so yeah, and that's where that song kind of came about and why it's, was based off the dating app experience. So yeah, and then that is pretty much the bulk of the song. So then we get into, I also just realized the time, so I gotta speed this up. Then we get into the part of the song where, so the second verse plays the same. Failed attempts, Sisyphus I'll fly. I'm high, now we don't fly. Oh, doesn't feel quite alright. Don't look what I lied. And we're back to that. So that second verse, failed attempts. If you know the story of Sisyphus in Greek mythology, he's a man who's cursed with rolling this massive rock up a hill for all of eternity, and his goal every day is to get it to the top of the hill, and just before he does, it falls back down to the bottom. And so it's a combination of that, and it's actually a reference to Switchfoot's Meant to Live. So Sisyphus, this picture of like, that is what a relationship is like a lot of times. It is putting in the work for a rock that's going to just roll back down, but you're still trying. You're still there. And then also failed attempts, now we don't fly. Meant to Live is one of my favorite songs, and I think it just kind of like, it just fit in there, where it was the failed attempts at rolling the rock up the hill, now, hoping that he's bent for more than arguments and failed attempts to fly. The me that's hoping that I'm bent for more than arguments and failed attempts to fly. So yeah, and I mean, the way that it can weigh you down, and then we're back into the verse, then we're back into the chorus, and then we go into the bridge, which the bridge takes that C add 9 shape we've been using, and uses it on an A minor. So rather than having my index on the 11th fret of the D, I have it on the 10th fret. So we get this weird minor uncomfortable sound, and then we scoot it up, same shape, to an E minor, and then we're back to the D add 9 shape, C add 9. And we do that 3 times. into the verse chords. And then we do this, and then there's kind of a build, and then just single strum. Look at me, and please don't say, willing to give me another try. Break the wings of a butterfly. I don't have to say. One more time, and then the ending is just playing the verse chords, and then we get back to that pre-chorus chords. Then we just end on a C add 9. Yeah, so that is pretty much Sisyphus, the story behind it, how you play it. I think it was just one of those songs that was really weird. And I felt like it was such a slowed down and chill vibe, but like when I brought it to Nick, like Nick loved it. So, like I've said before in this chat, Scale Fracture songs aren't official until Nick has looked at them. But so this will probably sound completely different whenever we actually record it. But if you've been tuning in this whole time, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Definitely give us a like and subscribe. I try to do this every Thursday, and then in the future, hopefully we can get one where it's me and Nick and some other people. If you're in Crestview, we've got a show coming up next Saturday for Angel Force Palooza. You can find all of our stuff on Instagram at Scale Fracture Band. We're on Spotify. You can come to this YouTube channel, anything like that. Thank you all so much for tuning in today. I appreciate the support. Much love, especially if you're in a different country. I appreciate that. So yeah, thank you all so much for tuning in, and I will see you later.